Good afternoon, Joyful Geniuses. Andrew Horder here, founder of Joyful Genius Coaching. And as I always say, I've been spending over the last decade helping solo practitioners to figure out what it is that's special about them and wrap a business around that and love what you do for a living, make a living, great living doing what you love. This week, the working title for this live was Step Away from the Credit Card. And it's really all about restraint. When you get into the third step of the 3 steps to genius, that is to step out and take your genius out into the world. So step 1, step up, own up to having a genius. Step 2, step into that genius, truly understand it, absolutely embody it, make it part of your being and bring that being to the world. In step 3, step out. And here's the thing, when you've done all that work, it can be really exciting. You know what you're at, you know who you want to be working with, and all you want to do is get it out there. So the first thing you do is you go and Facebook ads. I'll do Facebook ads. Yes, that's a great idea. Or Google ads or whatever. Or I'll do a Facebook group, and up flashes that advert. I don't know, somehow as soon as you start thinking Facebook ads start to appear that are relevant to the things that you're thinking about. Facebook ads about how to do Facebook ads, or Facebook ads about how to do Facebook groups, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the point is, stop. Don't start spending money straight away. Seriously. You see, Facebook ads are fantastic for really getting micro-targeted niches and getting your bang-on message out to those targeted messages, and you can do retargeting and really get very, very tight on your niche, but also expand your reach. So they're fantastic ways to get your message out there once your message is right. Otherwise, they can be a massive cash burn. Trust me, I have spent hundreds of pounds that didn't generate results. I've spent money that did generate results, but I've also spent a lot of money that didn't generate results because I did it wrong, I did it too fast, I leapt in, I bought into the flashy advert that promised me something that, yes, it could have happened, but there was stuff that was missing before I did it. So my first thing to say to you is, however important it is to get your stuff out there, start with organic, because only when you really get the organic right is it time to start throwing some money at it. And by all means then throw some money at it, but not until you know it's going to work. Yeah. The other thing is, watch out for those outlandish claims that they're all over Facebook, they're all over the internet. I'll take you from start to a 6-figure coaching business, start 6-figure consulting business, whatever, in X months, 1 year, 6 months, 3 months. I've seen people reckon they can get you to 6 figures in 3 months. It may be possible. Don't get me wrong. These people can always point to clients of theirs that they've worked with who were able to go from very little to these 6-figure sums, 6-figure businesses. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not poo-pooing the entire industry. But what I am saying is they are not the norm. They are absolutely not the norm. It's probably not even an 80-20. More likely, I would think, 5-95 of the people who pay those pretty large sums, 4-figure sums, even 5-figure sums sometimes, to get that result, and they're just not ready. And unfortunately, some of these people who promote these things aren't very good at figuring out who's ready and who's not. So they'll take your 4-figure sum, they'll say, there's the material, go use it. And if you're not ready to use it, you're not going to get the results. So don't rush in, take your time, talk to people who've been through the courses, talk to people who've been through the courses and it hasn't worked, and figure out why it didn't work for them before you then commit to one path. Because that's the other mistake that people make. They go down, they buy loads of different courses, probably all at the same time, and they've got time to do all of them. Well, of course they're not going to get results. You do need to take targeted action, and you do need to take committed targeted action. Again, I'll hold my hand up. Early days, that was absolutely me. You see, the big thing about success is it's very rarely overnight. It really isn't. Time is a major factor in success. And I'll share this diagram in the comments below in a minute. But there's like a graph of performance that got time along this axis, performance on this axis. No, the other way around. Yeah, time is here, performance is here. Yeah, and you start off really quite slow and not really getting very much in the way of growth. There's a lot of preparation work to do, but after a while it does start to build, and only at the very end does it really grow. And I see that as a three-stage process going on. They're very similar to the 3 steps of genius, actually. Three steps of genius. You've got the really just nailing what it is you're doing stage as part of the preparation. Then there's the step into stage, and that's where you're really honing what it is and getting good at it and making sure you know exactly what you're up to, and in my language, owning your genius. And that stage just starts to create results, but they're not massive at that point. You only get the massive results when you've done that preparatory work, and then you're starting from, it's a low base, but it is a base. And so many of these courses will promise you from a zero base you will get to the 6 figures. And genuinely, that's unlikely, unless you're really quite fortunate. What's more likely is the people who have come into those courses seemingly at ground zero have actually done an awful lot of the prep work, and they're kind of at that border of step into and step out, and they're ready to go. They then do all the stuff in the courses, because again, I'm not saying the courses don't work, I'm just saying you've got to be ready for them. So then you do all the stuff, you go through the program, you do the stuff because you're prepared to do the stuff, and woof, off you go. So 6-figure business is absolutely possible. High 5 figures if that's where you want to get to. If you don't fancy going over the 85,000 VAT threshold, whatever. Each to their own. Personally, do I want to get up to 6 figures? Yeah, it'd be nice, but it's not essential for me. High 5s is fine for me because I'm not greedy. It's not greed. I'm not that ambitious, to be perfectly honest, because that's what keeps me happy. So you've got to take the time to do the preparing, the building, and the growth, and allow that there will be time required in that. And then when you start to put the stuff out there, the big thing, my coach bangs this into me time and time and time again. And sorry, Helena, I know I still don't do it as well as I should. Test and measure. Try something. Did it work? Yes, it did. Great. Do some more of it. Little bit of ad spend on Facebook. See if that creates the results you want. If it does, excellent. Ramp it up. Somebody I know quite well, his business was working really, really well on Facebook ads. And his big question to his mastermind group was, what do I do next? How do I scale this business? How do I make it even bigger? And essentially they said, well, how are you getting your customers now? He said, well, Facebook ads. Facebook ads are working quite well. I spend, I think it was, I can't remember what the number was, but for every £300 I spend on Facebook ads, I get £3,000 of revenue in. So 10 to 1 return on the money he was spending. And they just sort of looked at each other, scratched their heads and said, well, do more Facebook ads then. You see, throwing loads of money at Facebook absolutely works. But only once you've done the test and measure and you're doing the focused activity, you're putting all that resource, not just chucking money at the wall and hoping something will stick, but putting that money into the activities, the adverts, the micro niches that's working, that's creating the revenue for you, that's creating the customers that you want to be working with. Because again, you can chuck a whole load of money at the wall, you can attract a whole load of customers, and they're not the ones you want to be working with. That's not a lot of fun either, is it? So, test and measure, okay? So, slow down. Don't start throwing money at the problem because you haven't quite figured out what the problem is yet. Do the basics. Understand that the big six-figure business claims are real, but they need preparation to get there, and probably only about 5% of the people who enroll for these programs actually make those results, unless it's a really good provider who can, who takes the time, frankly, to make sure that the customer's the right person for them. I've got a lot of time for providers who will say to me, actually, you know what, Andrew, what you're trying to achieve, where you're at, this isn't the right program for you. Yes, I can take £5,000 off you, but I'm not going to, because it's not going to get the results that you want. It's not actually going to get the results that I want. And that's one of the big, the match between ambition and the outcome of the program. That's a big one. Yeah, for me to go to one of these coaches, providers, marketing gurus, whatever they call themselves, who's promising a six-figure business when I don't really want a six-figure business right now. Kind of pointless, isn't it? Because I'm going to disappoint them, and they're going to be disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed in myself because I won't get the results because their program's designed to do something in a different way to the way I want to work. So make sure that the provider's right for you. Make sure that the outcome from the program is going to be right for you. Give it time. Give it time to work. Make sure you're prepared for it. Test and measure once you start going. And all this really wraps up into have a marketing strategy. You need a business strategy, but as well as a business strategy, you need a marketing strategy. Without a marketing strategy, your marketing will at best be haphazard. At worst, it will be a complete and utter waste of time and money. So get yourself a marketing strategy. Now, if you want to have a chat about what I mean by how you get a marketing strategy and what you need to do before you even get into that marketing strategy, here's what I'd like you to do. Go on to my Mojo video. That's this, because this video and everything that I do really is aimed at coaches, consultants, people who can't, whether they're a coach or a consultant, who've kind of lost their mojo. So the video is at www.joyful-genius.com/mojo. I'll put the link down below. Watch that video, get an understanding of how I get people to the point where they're ready for that marketing strategy. But I'd also like to talk to you about how you go about getting a marketing strategy. So at the end of that video, book on for a call with me. Let's have a chat about where you're at and about how I see you can get to that 5-figure, high 5-figure, even 6-figure, if that's what you want. Business based around your genius. Love what you do for a living. Make a living doing what you love. What could be better than that, eh? That's me done for this week. So don't forget, step away from the credit card, but keep up the great work. Speak to you next week.